I used to say that when you put in the same room some clever people, always the good ideas are coming. So be sure that the network can be stronger. Be sure also that they can ask us to help them to convince their authority, because sometimes the school sport is not the first priority, which I can understand fully. But when you explain all the issues to the high-level authorities, then it can help the development. So don't hesitate to come with us, and we will help you to convince people for education and sport.
That is awesome. Mr. Lauren Petrinka, I definitely do appreciate you for taking the time out to talk to us here at the Africa Sports Report, and we have a variety of mediums to which we engage the public in sports media. So I want to thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to listen to you to talk about the International School Sports Federation and its importance.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for highlighting the School Sport Federation, because the issues of education and sport is the key subject for the world in general. Thank you very much, my dear friend.
It's Kelpie Vibes.
Zlatan.
If I receive,
I'm killing them shot. Because I swear God, if I go kill them back. Rob, we go to win them like that. Oh God, like I know, be a belly jack. That's all, yeah. Jaja, make you know they feel a kulala. Jala mi jala, hey, where the money, na 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 na. Money alone, we making money rush like Indomie. Suppose that's your word, my lordy. Baby, show my Giuseppe's a naughty. See, I'm killing them shot. Because I swear God, if I go kill them back.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Africa Sports Report. I am here with the head of boxing, the Boxing Association for Ghana, Mr. Peter Zuenis. And he's just come back from the boxing match up in Frisco, Texas, to witness Richard Comey win the IBF lightweight championship against Issa Chaneyev of Russia. Quite an eventful night.
Certainly, I mean, we're all very elated at the end of it, because Richard has come a long way. After his controversial loss to Robert Easter about 2 years ago, I was at the ringside and I felt he had done enough to get a nod. Unfortunately, it was a split decision 2-1. And then after that, he went to Russia of all places.
Right.
Getting a fair decision in Russia
Yeah,
is something else.
Right.
And to think that it was another split decision against Denis Shafikov. He won hands down. And so he's been through a lot to put that disappointment behind him and to look forward. Very disciplined boxer. I'm sure after those shattering moments, anybody else would have recoiled and decided maybe I'll call it quits, but he persevered.
Hung in there.
And we are very happy, particularly for us in Ghana. You know, we lost the only world title we'd had in some years now when Isaac Dogbe won the title just last year. And we're hoping to have another one. And then in December, unfortunately, we lost it. Quite unfortunate. And so we needed to restore our hopes with this title. So it's come at the most appropriate time for us.
Wonderful. Like you say, it comes at an appropriate time. And were you able to talk to Comey after the fight?
No, unfortunately, immediately after the fight, his trainers detected that he must have suffered some injury to his hand.
Okay.
I think that the injury came in the first round. Maybe
Okay.
that must have motivated him to come and
here.
finish off the fight before any eventualities. So
Okay.
they had to go and attend to that.
Okay.
And I was also very keen on watching some of the other supporting
The other fights,
because Valdez
Right.
was fighting Tomasoni
Okay.
for the featherweight title,
Featherweight
I think it was
title, yes.
WBC. And then the big one, Sergey Kovalev
Right.
against Elder Alvarez in the light heavyweight. So we
saw
all
that
glued
one,
to our
yes.
seats. It was an interesting night
Right.
overall. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. You're very supportive of your fighters within the Ghana boxing circle, and definitely that's motivation for them. For them to have the head of the association, because a lot of times you have administrators who don't, they just go through the motions. What motivates you so much with the boxing situation in Ghana?
Well, my motivation has all to do with the love for the sport.
Right.
Yes, I love soccer. I love athletics, track and field, and all that. But I think boxing is the foremost one, and it goes back a long way.
Yes.
My dad was a national athlete himself, doing the mile, what we now call the 1,500 meters,
Right.
both in high school and for Ghana those years back. And he loved soccer too as well. But I think his passion overall was for boxing. Because he came from a certain background. I'm told my grandfather and his brothers were one of the first to set up a boxing gym in the western region of Ghana many years ago.
Okay.
And so my dad grew up in a neighborhood where there were a lot of boxers and champions.
Okay.
And so he also carried that torch very far. He didn't box himself,
Okay.
but his very good friend, his bosom friend, when he was much younger, was Floyd Robertson.
Okay.
Now, Floyd Robertson was the first Ghanaian to have fought for a world title.
My.
He fought Sugar Ultiminio Ramos in 1964 in Ghana. It was a big event those days. And the connoisseurs will tell you, the pundits will tell you that he was the best thing that happened to Ghana boxing in terms of skill.
Right.
And he was the most unfortunate Ghanaian fighter not to have won a world title.
My goodness.
Because they will tell you across board that he was the best.
And that's
Floyd
historic
Robertson
in
was-
itself, because
yes,
the
Floyd-
first to
Floyd
fight
was-
for a world title.
He was my dad's bosom friend.
Okay.
And so he used to come to our home when we were much younger.
Okay.
And so were other, fighters and all that. So my dad used to take us to the ringside, myself and my brother Jacob, who is in North Carolina now. And
Right.
we've never looked back.
That's awesome. That's
And
awesome. It's
my dad's very close friend as well, Uncle Henry, who's also passed just like my dad, was very instrumental in unearthing and discovering Azuma Nelson.
oh, wow.
So we had the privilege when we were kids of riding in my dad's car with Azuma Nelson to training sessions on a regular basis.
Oh, my.
So I knew him like the back of my hand.
Oh, wow.
And, yes, that's how far we go.
That's a great story. I mean, it's I would say it's a pedigree in the family, regardless of the fact that whether you stepped in the ring or didn't step in the ring.
Well, I have a good left hook, but I've never stepped in the ring.
I hear
to
you.
test it. Maybe one of these days.
Oh boy, no, not now. Not now. Administratively, I know your boxers are doing well out on the world stage. Well, I say relatively. Some of them make good money for themselves. But what are some of the pitfalls or issues that you would say the association has that kind of hinders it in terms of promoting them? Actually putting all necessary tools to really lift Ghana boxing to another level, a whole other height.
Our biggest handicap for professional boxing in Ghana, and for that matter, the association, is sponsorship.
Okay.
Now, promoting and sustaining and developing boxing can be very expensive. We are the regulatory body. We are supposed to develop the sport. But we have stakeholders. We have promoters.
Right.
We have managers. We have matchmakers. We have trainers. We have the boxers themselves. We have ring officials and all that. Now, they all come under our wing as far as regulatory in the sport is concerned. But the biggest responsibility of ensuring that the sport thrives rests mainly with the promoters and managers. They are the ones who should promote the fights on a regular basis, so that the big pool of talent we have can be unearthed, and then we can produce the champions,
world champions.
Unfortunately, it's not easy to promote a fight. It involves a lot of finances, paying for the venue, paying for the equipment, paying the boxer spaces, paying the ring officials, securing the place, security and all that. It's a lot of money. You need sponsorship. And for years we've been trying very hard to attract sponsorship. Unfortunately, for so many years it wasn't forthcoming. Only recently it's been coming in bits and pieces. The main reason being that the nation has been soccer biased for so many years. It's all been about soccer and the Black Stars and all that. Notwithstanding that boxing
it's the most successful.
It has been
discipline.
The most successful, and giving us all the
world champions.
All the world champions. You know, so we've had to come up against that prejudice over the years, and we've been trying very hard to rebrand and sell to all the potential sponsors the big news about boxing. Let them know that, look, what you put in soccer, which is not bringing you all the success, you can put 1/10 of that in boxing, and it's going to bring you much more. So we are doing our best, you know. But there's a limit to what we can also do. The promoters also have to go out of their way to secure the sponsorship, and it's not easy for them. So time and again you find out that promising promoters come up, and then before long they folded up and gone underground again because they can't. So the state could have done much more for us if it was involved and putting in some finances to sustain the sport. I'm saying that because many years ago the state was involved in boxing. That was in the early 70s, during the tenure of the late former head of state, General Ike Achampo. He was very passionate about sports. He had a special commissioner for sports in the person of Simpia Santi. And they decided that, look, they wanted to help professional boxing. So the state itself secured a license to promote boxing. And what they did was that they identified 1 or 2 boxers whom the state wanted to experiment with. And the experiment proved very successful. The state decided to sponsor and promote and manage DK Poison, David Kote Poison. And he became our first ever world champion in any sporting discipline. The state came into that in 1973 thereabouts. So we had the Ghana Boxing Board of Control. We had, at that time, we had stalwarts like Justice D.F. Fanan, Mowbray Elliott, Colonel Slater, Coleman Petu. They were stalwarts in boxing in those days, and they spearheaded the resurgence of boxing. And before long, DK Poison, they promoted him, fought for an African title against Taha Ben Hassan in Tunisia, stopped him in the first round, I think, then fought Ivan Armstrong of Scotland for the Commonwealth title. Very difficult fight, a 9th round technical knockout for him. That's at the Airwax Stadium. And then the next thing we knew, he was fighting Ruben Olivares of Mexico in the Inglewood Forum in California for the world title. And that was our first ever world title we had. After that, yes, he made a few successful defenses before he lost the title to Danny Little Red Lopez. And an epic fight. I say epic because in the book of records, that fight is recorded as having generated the largest crowd to watch a boxing tournament. 120,000 at the Accra Sports Stadium. You
My
believe
God.
it? Yeah.
My God.
So that is how far the state went in those days.
Right.
We had another